Have you seriously considered quitting social media? Yes. Yes, I have. I know I'm hardly posting as it is now, but sometimes I feel like I just want to stop posting altogether and just kind of live life for real, Like just do things and enjoy them and not have to document them and not feel obligated to show it off, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying I live my life for social media, but sometimes it feels that way. So I feel like if I fully just disappeared and went MIA, I honestly feel like my quality of life might be better. I don't know. So I considered it, yeah. If you were stranded on an island and could only take 3 objects, what would they be? A machete, because that can come in very handy, for cutting vegetation, food, protecting yourself. Flint for starting fires. And a water purification, salt water to freshwater purification. I feel like out there I would have water, I would have fire, and I would have an instrument for protection and, things like that. I feel like I'm really prioritizing survival, so those would be the 3 items I would take. What advice would you give to your past self? To my past self, I feel like my past self had a tendency to just get really fixated on things, and my advice to myself would just be relax. Whatever you think is so important, really in the big picture, is not that important. I would suggest to myself to just, keep working hard and that it'll pay off. But at the same time, remember to breathe, remember to enjoy life, and just know that everything will be okay in the end. Prioritize yourself. I feel like that's another thing that I used to do, is I used to always put other people first or, before myself. And I feel like it's really essential for past Asia to be a little bit more selfish, I guess. What advice would you have for someone who wants to be a social media creator? Be consistent. Consistency is key. I honestly believe that if you are consistent, and by consistent I mean constantly posting, constantly creating content, just always, just being consistent. Just don't stop. You can't just post once and then disappear for a month and then expect to be, a social media creator. And I feel like I lack consistency when it comes to posting on social media. And I've seen my engagement drop by doing that. So I would say if you want to be a creator, you have to be consistent. You have to know your audience and cater to that. So it's actually really hard. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how hard it is. So I feel like once you understand that and you put in the work, then it's completely 100% possible. And another thing I would say is don't listen to outside voices. I feel like it could be your friends, your family, and they may have doubts because they don't understand it or whatever it may be. I would just say don't listen to that and just focus on you and just know that it's possible. What are your favorite movies of all time? My favorite movies of all time would be Avatar, James Cameron Avatar. I just saw the new one. Both of them, I would say the first one, second one are now my favorite movies. I would also say the Divergent series movies and the Hunger Game movies, as well as the Narnia movies. I love movies based on books, so those are my favorite movies of all time. But I especially love sci-fi and fantasy movies. So, what is something most people who follow you don't know about you? I would say most people who follow me don't know that I was raised by 2 women. I was raised by my mother as well as my grandmother, and I was raised in my grandmother's house and as an only child. So I can still consider myself an only child. However, I do have a half sister who is 15 years younger than me, I believe. On my father's side, I've never met her, so I still consider myself an only child, but that's something that I feel most people don't know about me and my family. What is your biggest pet peeve? My biggest pet peeve is repeating myself. I hate repeating myself, like whether it be something that I said like a week ago and I have to say it again, or it could be in like, you know, a conversation that I'm having with someone and someone's like, what? Especially when like, it's one thing if you can't hear me or understand what I'm saying and I have to repeat myself, like that I have a little bit more tolerance for, but it's when you pretend to be listening and then you're like, what? That, oh my gosh, that irritates me. Pet peeve. So I hate repeating myself. What would be one superpower you would choose to have? I would say I would want to have the ability to control things with my mind, and by things I mean like, especially like nature. This sounds kind of like, you know, I don't know, I feel like control freak, but I'd be able to want to control things like, you know, like an avatar, like Last Airbender. Like I'd want to be like an avatar and like control like water and fire, earth, air, you know, maybe have like control over, you know, like plants and animals. I don't know if that sounds wrong or whatever, to control like living things, but I don't know, I just feel like that would be a cool power to have. What's your goal for where you'll be 3 years from today? So it is currently 2023, and in 2026 I hope to have my own brand, my own fashion brand, and I would hopefully like to have my own storefront. I know 3 years is really fast to have a storefront, but you never know. I just want to be ambitious, you know, maybe just have my own store, and in the store I want to like host events and have vendors over and sell out of my store. Yeah, and I would really love to travel to Germany, so that's something I see myself doing in 2026. Yeah, so that's where I see myself, just having a successful business, hopefully by 2026. When did you first go viral? So I first went viral when I was 18 years old. I just graduated high school and I featured in a YouTube video for P2. P2 is the name, is his YouTube channel. And I just, you know, happened to come on the channel and I got a really positive, feedback from that. And he shouted out my Instagram. At the time, I think I had 1,600 followers, and then it jumped to like 10K in a day. I was at 30K by the end of the week, and then I think I hit 100K followers. It slowed down after that, but then I hit like 100K followers like in like 2 months, and then I was at like 140,000 in like the end of the year. So it's like things just like happened like really fast. So I feel like the whole jump from 1,600 followers to 30,000 is like definitely like when things like peaked for me. And then from there I was just doing videos with him on his channel. I started my own channel. But yeah, I would say me like going onto his channel, and all I did was return his wallet for like, you know, some social experiment. I returned his wallet and I guess, you know, people followed me because of that. I don't know, but that's literally what happened. It's so weird. Who were the first creators you followed on social media? The first creators I followed on social media, I think I followed this one girl. Her Instagram was like Luana or like Luana. She's kind of like a grunge fashion. Like her style is like grunge fashion. She's like a fashion influencer. So I followed her back when I was going through like my kind of like emo goth phase in middle school, and I just really loved her style. It wasn't necessarily goth, but she did have kind of like dark elements that I really liked. And then I also followed Another fashion influencer was good, or Alani Figueroa. She has like a very like cool, colorful streetwear style that I really liked. And then another girl I followed, who's another fashion influencer, is Kiki Yangjing, who is this Chinese girl who moved to Germany. So she has this very like avant-garde streetwear, kind of like, I want to say punk in a way, like style. But it's also not punk. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really fun streetwear style. So these are the people I first followed, like my first creators that I ever followed on like my Instagram. Do you see social media as your long-term career path? If not, what could you see yourself doing? So I've mentioned this like several times. I see myself being a fashion designer, have my own fashion brand. So it's in the works right now, kind of just like, you know, perfecting my craft before I like make it a for real thing. But that's what I see myself doing. Like, that's really what I want to do with my career. I really want to apply my artistry to a business and create stuff that people can wear. So yeah, that's kind of what I see myself doing as my career path, and I'm hoping that, you know, it's successful, but you know, just gotta put in the work. Which one of your accomplishments are you the proudest of? I am the proudest of graduating from college. You know, that was something that been working on since forever. You know, I've always, you know, strived to get good grades and go to college and all that stuff. So I feel like it was kind of hard when I was getting more traffic on my social media to just, you know, like not just drop college and focus on that. So I am very proud of myself for sticking to the plan and finishing out college and graduating with my fine arts degree. So that's what I'm proudest of. Who are your role models? I would say first and foremost my mom. She would be my biggest role model. As a little girl, I always wanted to be like her. I always admired how much of a free spirit and how much my mom like just didn't care about things. You know, I just feel like I've always been so like self-conscious and like insecure about certain things that my mom just really couldn't care less about. So I always just aspired to have her confidence and her class as a lady. So she's definitely my role model. I would also say that if I had to say like anyone like famous who I look up to, it would be like Kylie Jenner, I guess. I don't know if that's like super basic for me to say, but I just think she's so gorgeous, and I just admire her like as a businesswoman and how she carries herself. Yeah, I don't know, I look up to her as well. I just think she's like, you know, a real like boss. So yeah. And then I also look up to Virgil Abloh. I really love the way that he came into the fashion scene. He was so like, I felt like, I don't know, like I just feel like he just came out of nowhere. I mean, I guess he didn't come out of nowhere, but he was so successful so fast, and I just really admire all the hard work, and like he was so brilliant. So I really look up to him, and I hope to be as successful as him one day. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this Q&A. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye.